Trevor and Lexi, an awesome couple, retired at the age of 24 and 25, have accomplished being a full-time couple and full-time parents. What's incredible, the first time in worldwide history, following the legacy that their parents, Glenn and Joya, have put forth as amazing diamonds, we're truly blessed. So please help me welcome fully qualified emeralds in diamond qualification, Trevor and Lexi Baker.
Wow, Las Vegas, how are we doing tonight? Wow, we are absolutely honored and privileged to be here with you guys tonight, and honored to get a chance to sit on a Worldwide Dream Builder stage and tell our story, and hopefully just to give each and every one of you guys hope. You know, every single one of us comes into the business, you know, with different backgrounds, different experiences, but really and truly our goal is just to give you guys hope, you know, maybe even just to kind of shed a little light on the future that lies ahead of each and every one of you guys for yourselves and for your family as you guys begin to build this absolutely amazing business. So really and truly, guys, I just really want to thank each and every one of you guys for being here tonight. Thank every single one of our leaders. Ross and Sherry Cerencione have done a phenomenal job hosting this function. Want to thank all the great platinums and all the great leaders here in this market, because if it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. But really truly want to bring up and get a chance to introduce you guys, you know, my emerald in diamond qualification wife. Here is Lexi Baker.
Hi guys. Okay, so a couple of things I just want to chat about first is, first of all, I think it's very hard to express how amazingly grateful you are for something and for someone and a group of people that have impacted your entire adult life. For me, I grew up in Vegas, so we're recording it here. It's kind of fun doing it in our hometown. But I actually grew up in Vegas pretty much my entire life, and it's definitely an interesting place to grow up in. But it has its ups and downs and crazy things, but I think anywhere does. But it was honestly a great place to grow up because I had incredible parents that raised us in an awesome Christian home and just set the best example for us all the time. And the only reason that I even met Trevor was because they had a dream for our family years ago. And I'm so thankful for you guys, and I can't look at you right now. So, but we're just so excited about that. So I grew up here in Vegas, and I was just pretty much average, did everything I was supposed to do. You know, people would be like, oh, you did really great in school. Yeah, but why is that very exciting? I mean, I did what I was supposed to do. I got my good grades. I did that. I tried to achieve things, and anything that I set my mind to, I had to be the best at. But I was still taught to go down that road, just like everybody else, of getting the great education, getting the great job, and I was sold out to school. I was totally sold out to school. I went to college, and I went in with 1 year of college already done because I had, didn't have fun in high school. I just was worried about school and getting good grades. So I went in, I would have finished in 3 years, and my first year in college, my parents actually brought me to an FED. That changed my life forever. When I saw a group of people that stood on character and integrity and wanted to do amazing things to impact the world, I fell in love with that. I fell in love with people like you guys. I fell in love with people that just didn't want to be average. They wanted to do something great with their life. They were like me, that my entire life, the reason why I was pursuing what I was pursuing in school, I wanted to be the ambassador to another country. That was my goal. And I wanted to do that because, number one, I love to travel. And number two, I wanted to feel like I did something with my life. I didn't want to feel like I had the day I was born, the day I died, and what did I do with that dash. I didn't want to feel like I lived in a bubble my whole life where I had this nice little life that looked really pretty from the outside, but what did I accomplish? Did I do anything with the life that I was given? And for all the sacrifices that my parents made for me, and my mom and my stepdad Kent, and my dad and my stepmom as well, and everything that they did for us, I want to actually do something great with that. I believe that God created us for so many great things, but we just unfortunately are not ever given a vehicle and an arena to actually do something with that. So when I got to FED, I was totally pumped. So excited. I left that and my course totally changed. I was still in school for a while. I was single building this business. I was in school for a little bit, and I was taking 20 credits in college. I worked full-time at a bank, and I worked part-time nights at Abercrombie & Fitch, and I was busy. Slept 3 nights a week and built this business. And some people thought all my friends thought I was crazy. Trust me, they thought I was nuts. They thought I was crazy. Oh my gosh, what are you doing? I lived with a couple of roommates, and I would come home from work and I'd eat something real fast, get dressed, and go out and build this business. And I'd come home and they'd be partying and hanging out, and they would make fun of me, but that didn't matter to me. Because the crazy thing is, my friends were so focused on playing right now because we're young and we're just supposed to mess around, that now they're paying the rest of their life. If I see them around town, I love them, they're great people, but that's not the life that I wanted. And I'm so glad that I saw this at such a young age, and it's been crazy awesome. I know Trevor and I actually at that FED, I'm going to talk about our relationship later, but we met at that first FED I went to. It was life-changing in many ways. We met at a concession stand. I think my dad and I were standing there. And I just remember Trevor came. He's a year younger than me, that graduated a year after me. And he was standing in line at the concession stand with me, and he came up and introduced himself like, "Hey, I'm Trevor Baker." Like I was supposed to know who he is. And I was like, okay, that's great. And I think he quickly realized that didn't mean anything to me. If he would have said his parents' names, I knew who his parents were. But I didn't know who he was. And I actually had a boyfriend at the time. He ended up getting my dad's phone number, and we kind of just became friends through building this business. And yeah, he had a plan the whole time. So I actually dated this other guy for about another year and a half building the business. He was on board for a little bit, and then he was negative and he wanted nothing to do with it. He got influenced by his friends, and there was nothing wrong with him. He was a great guy, but it came down to a point in my life where I realized, what did I want my life to look like? Did we want the same things in our life? Was it more about that we had fun together, or that we believed in the same things? Had I actually even sat down and thought about what kind of husband I wanted and what kind of life did I want? I wanted to be a diamond. I wanted the diamond life. I wanted everything about it. And so I needed to have somebody that wanted to run with me. That was my opinion. That's what I wanted. I wanted somebody that wanted to be a diamond man. I wanted somebody that wanted to impact people's lives and wasn't okay just clocking in. So I broke up with him, and I've still seen him around town today. He's a really awesome guy, and I believe actually one day he will be building this business. But it was pretty soon after that at a function that we would be totally pumped, actually. Anyways, okay. So at the next major function, I had gone home, and Trevor actually ran into my parents, I believe at an airport when everybody's flying home. And he found out from my parents, it was about 6 months later, that I wasn't dating this guy anymore. So Trevor has a great uncle that lives here in Vegas. So he decided he needed to come visit his great uncle. So we started from there. I didn't want a boyfriend, but we'd come out and he'd hang out. And I actually learned later from his sister Summer that apparently at home he was telling everybody that he was my girlfriend, and I had not agreed to that at the time. Oh, boyfriend, sorry. That's important. Edit that. But we started dating, and it was just a whirlwind from there. Once we decided to get serious about each other and realize that this is the person I wanted to spend the rest of my life with, we were so pumped because we had the same things we wanted in our life, and it was so incredible meeting somebody that had the same values as I did, that wanted the same things in my life. We didn't have all the issues, I believe, that most couples have, because we actually thought about the things that were important. We talked about those things before we got married. We talked about so many things. So it was such a different thing starting this business, and we thought it was just going to be puppy dogs and rainbows. And so we got engaged. We decided to start kicking butt in business. I knew that we knew we were going to be diamonds from day one. We didn't know how long it would take us. We didn't know what our road was going to look like. We didn't know what God had in store for us, but we knew we were going to be diamonds and crown ambassadors because it's just what I believe God has placed in our heart. And so we started building our business really hard, strong, fast. I was actually living here in Vegas. Trevor was in California, so we were building the business single, but essentially the same business, and building our business while planning our wedding. And I think so many people, they stop when things happen, even if they're positive things in their life, and they put their future on the back burner so that they can take care of today. And we realized that our wedding was important, but it was one day, it was the party, it was the celebration for what we were actually building. And we were going to build something by building our business that was going to allow us to have the best marriage possible, not just a great party. So the funny thing is, so many people probably would be like, oh my gosh, you guys are crazy, but the night before our wedding, we had a board plan. We had the rehearsal dinner, and I stayed back to finish everything, and Trevor went and did a board plan. And most people are like, oh my gosh, that's nuts. But you know what? Again, it was so much more of what was the marriage that we wanted? What was the life we wanted for our kids? Not so much what was the event that was happening that day. And during that time of building our wedding, we actually went into platinum qualification on our wedding during our honeymoon, and it was so awesome. It was the coolest thing to do at 21 years old, newly married, and just knowing that you had that peace of mind of having that income coming in. And even though we still had jobs, I was a waitress when we first got married. Trevor was a real estate assistant. We made like no money. We were broke as a joke. It was bad. It was pretty bad. We started making not necessarily the greatest decisions even after we were platinums in the business. We started getting into debt and doing just not the best things. But very quickly after that, we started making better decisions and realized that, okay, we won't want to be broke. We don't want to be frustrated. You can make a lot of good money, but if you don't make good decisions with it, you can feel just as broke as anybody else that only makes $18,000 a year. So after that, when we got married, our first year was awesome. We had actually never spent more than 3 days together until we were married. So it was like this honeymoon dating phase, and it was awesome. And then about a year into it, it was like, oh my gosh, we hit reality. And I think that second year of marriage, each of us spent probably half of the year on the couch. It was not it wasn't like Trevor spent the time on the couch or I spent the time on the couch. It was just whoever happened to end up there that night. And there was a lot of yelling and screaming, and it was mostly me. And I was just stubborn, and I didn't know how to allow my husband to lead. I think one of the challenges came that we had both built this business single. So how to allow him to lead in our marriage and also in business, that was a huge challenge for me. I had to learn how to become a woman of strength and not just a strong woman. And the only way I was able to do that is to watch Joya. Joya is incredibly strong, but she allows Glenn to lead their family in such an incredible way. And thank you for that example. We just continued to build the business no matter what was going on. No matter whether we had stuff in our life, whether it was our marriage, whether it was financial challenges, whether we moved like 3-4 times our first couple of years in business. It didn't matter what was going on because we were focused on our future. And because of that, I had the opportunity to walk away from being a waitress, from smelling like fajitas every single day, from coming home with nasty stuff on the bottom of my shoes. If you've ever worked in food service, it's so gross. But walking away from that at 24 years old, never to have to worry about clocking in again, never have to worry about waking up when I didn't want to. And I remember my Freedom Day, it was pretty funny. We had a small team, and living in Southern California at the time, everybody has crazy distances that you drive. Building this business in Vegas is fantastic. It's 45 minutes is like your longest drive. But we had probably 20, 30 people on our team that came, and so my last day of work, they were the last table I served. I served them, and they brought balloons that said retired, and everybody there was like, what is going on? Like, why are you getting balloons for you and you have this crown on? They had me wear like beads and serving them with a crown and beads. It was very fun. And it was just the coolest thing knowing that I never had to go back there again. As soon as I got home, I took that ugly shirt off and those nasty shoes, and I threw them in our trash can. And I never had to see them again. So that was pretty awesome. Of course, you think everything's going to be great. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm free and everything's awesome. And I think so many people, when they see this opportunity, when they see the chance that you can live the life that a diamond lives, they just think that it's just going to be amazing. And it is. But you don't know. We've never been taught what success looks like and the journey to success. I've heard it said so many times that so many people want to be a diamond, but do they want to go diamond? Do they want to go emerald? Do they want to go platinum? Do they want to actually do what it's going to take to achieve that? Because success is not perfect. Like Kylie said earlier, success is messy. the stuff that you're going to go through and the life challenges that you're going to overcome. And I think the biggest thing for us, we just had to learn to do whatever it took and overcome whatever came into our path. And we started to find joy in all the challenges in our life. We started to realize that if we had things that were happening, we were going to take that situation and learn from it and be able to use that to impact people, to be able to sow into people. And that for me has been a bbig deal. You know, we've had family challenges. I know for me and my family, I'm so blessed to have my family here to celebrate with us. And I have some incredible parents, incredible grandparents, and amazing siblings. And at the time when we were platinums, we had my brothers, which are doing awesome now. But they were having some challenges with drugs and all kinds of crazy things. And they came to Southern California to go through rehab. And one of them ended up moving in with us. And that was kind of a hard time just for me to learn to trust God. I think that's what has prepared me so much for this journey going diamond, even with all the things that happened in our life where I honestly had to just give it up to him. I could not control it. There's nothing I could do. I couldn't control if they decided to make decisions that were best for them or if they were going to throw that away. And it was hard. There were nights where I would be crying up late. I didn't know what to do because I wanted them to live a great life. But I finally realized that it didn't matter. We could roll over wet on ourselves and just let things in life stop us from moving forward. But we decided that we were going to dig in harder, reach up more to Glenn and Joya, and continue to move forward because we knew that one day the decisions we made would be an example to them of what they could do with their life. Sorry. And I also had an incredible little sister that I knew that needed somebody in her life that was willing to, besides all the chaos going on, that was just willing to do what was right and willing to stand up and show that if you're just willing to do what you need to do, if you make great decisions in your life, you can have incredible things happen. And it doesn't mean that everything has to be right and pretty, and there can be a storm, but you just find peace and joy in the eye of that storm, and you just keep going. So anyways, we just had, life happens. Life's going to happen for you as you're building this business. It's not going to be perfect. Stuff's going to get in your way, what seems like in your way, but I believe that there's a purpose for everything. There's a reason that you're going to encounter everything in your life. And if you just know that and know that there's always a way, you can find a way and stay focused on what you want in your life, it's amazing the things that'll happen. So then right after that, Trevor and I had a choice to make. The house that we were living in, we were renting, and we were going to have to move. The place was going to get foreclosed on. So we were renting, we were going to move, and we decided, okay, we can move and stay in California, or we can move to Vegas. I felt like Vegas had so much potential. There were so many people that wanted to win here. There's so many people that wanted to do incredible things in their life. And I grew up here. So I wanted to come and be able to be a part of that. And I truly believe it was God's calling in our life to be here, to be the ones that could just show people that there is a better way, that you can live a better life than just living for the weekends and partying all the time and thinking that you're doing great because you're making $100,000 doing valet. But you can actually do something incredible with your life. You can stand on principle and character and morals and values. You don't have to get sucked into the nightlife. You don't have to get sucked into that life of quiet desperation, honestly, where it looks really pretty. People have this facade, but they really are not excited. They don't have amazing things going on behind closed doors. They're just frustrated. And so we moved out here to Vegas, and I believe that the whole time we were building our business in California, the entire time we were moving forward and the things we went through truly prepared us for what we did here. And we're just so excited for everything that's happening here. We've had incredible things happen, met amazing people, and I know Trevor's going to talk about so many of our leaders that we're working with today that we're so incredibly proud of and thankful for and blessed to have as best friends in life. But along that way of building our business and running hard to earn Trevor's freedom, we actually moved out here, and he was still working. He was still working for about 6 months more. He worked here, and then when we went back to California, and about 8-10 days a month he worked in California. So about 6 months after we moved here, he was a walk away from real estate, which is awesome. And he'll talk about that, his freedom day. Yeah, it's pretty funny. But then we wanted to start a family. And we'd been trying for quite some time, but found out that we could have kids naturally, but there's quite a small chance of that happening. So we embarked into fertility treatments. And that's just something we had to do. And it's amazing, again, to trust in God's timing and know that he has an incredible plan, because if it weren't for the fact that we built this business, I don't believe that we could have done that without going into crazy amounts of debt. We've been blessed with amazing 2.5-year-old girls that are incredible, and I love them so much, and it's so fun to be a full-time couple and full-time parents and a free family and waking up when we want to, doing everything we want to, seeing them grow up, and they're so much fun. They're so much fun to wake up to and just spend every moment with. And they already talk about going diamond, and they send messages on our voicemail system telling everybody that they're proud of them. And we know they're going to be incredible crown girls and excited for future kids. But all of that cost us about $70,000. And we were able to pay that by building this business. And I believe that those things wouldn't have been in our life. We wouldn't have been able to do that with peace of mind if we wouldn't have built this business. And then when most people would lay back, when not everybody, but I guess a lot of people, when either negative things or positive things happen in their life, they have a tendency to back off. They have a tendency to say, we're just going to kind of put this on the back burner, because for some reason they don't treat this as serious as they do their job. We treated this more seriously than we did our job. This was going to give us everything we've ever wanted in our life. Why would we not give it everything that we had? So our girls were born in November of 2012, and that's when we decided to really kick it into gear. Rather than having, being worried and worrying about babysitters and things like that, even though that was something we had to now work with and overcome, but we decided that we were going to kick butt and work harder. And because of that, from November 2012 until November of 2014, we put on our 2-year run to putting our foundation for Diamond. And it was crazy. We were busy, but it was so exciting and so much fun. And building this business and doing everything that you need to do, and what most people consider sacrifices, we looked as a badge of honor. We were so excited to drive the miles. We were so excited to stay up late, and because it's only going to happen one time in our life. Building that and going through that's only going to happen one time in your life, where you're going to feel that, and you're going to be stretched every single day, and you're going to have to grow every single day, and you're going to see an incredible, if you're married, for me, the coolest thing over these last couple of years is to see Trevor, his huge desire to grow as a person every single day, reading and rereading and studying and everything that he does all the time. And he just has how he is incredible at showing the plan, and everything that he does and mentoring people is because he every single day spends a lot of his time and mental energy on doing that. He studied so many of the diamonds. He studies his dad. He studied so many of the incredible leaders. And that's why he is the way he is today. It was very intentional. And I loved seeing that. It made me want to grow and made me want to stretch more. And he'd slap me around sometimes mentally, not physically. But if I was ever having a little pity party or being like, oh my gosh, I really want to stay with the girls, he's like, Lexi, they're going to be kids. Yes, they're only going to be kids once, but they're going to be adults the rest of their life. And we want to build something for them that they're going to respect when they're older. And that we're going to be able to spend time with them and be an incredible family and build a legacy so that we can not just have, the Bakers and the Baker Brands, but the rest of us and all of our kids, and do something amazing and be the best representation and be excuse eliminators. I think that's one of the things that Trevor and I always did. Is our goal with anything that came up in our life, our goal was to become an excuse eliminator. We didn't want things that happen in our life we would never allow those to become excuses, because we knew that if we did, that would just kind of steal the dream from anybody else that wanted to do something great, because then they realize that, it's okay to lay back. But when you think you can't take it anymore, that's when success happens. It's going to stretch you more than you ever think that you're going to have to stretch. It's going to take more out of you than you've ever thought you had to do. But really and truly, the more you learn, it's just because we've been surrounded by average people our whole lives. And at least for me, until I got in a room like this, we're trying to compare ourselves to average, and the average people out there go to work and watch TV and live for barbecues and the weekend. And so you're going to do more than that. You're going to do more than that, but it's so amazing. The life we have today of being a free family and spending time with Trevor. We've been a free couple for over half of our marriage. It's been awesome. It's been amazing having so much fun together, and then just being a free family now and seeing our girls grow up, and we want more kids. I'm excited to have more kids as soon as possible. Yes, I'm excited. Well, the thing that helps with that, I will tell you, that's going to make it so there's more peace in the house when you have a bunch of kids and you have all things going on and you're rocking in your life and you're mentoring people and you have an incredible organization. You have such amazing people that you're living life with. We're blessed and so blessed to this last year be able to hire a personal assistant. Actually, one of my sister's really good friends. Everybody needs a Shelly. She's awesome. She is with our girls right now, and she's been incredible. She does pretty much anything I ask her to, whether that's coming when I don't need her to watch the kids, and she just picks up, she runs errands, she does anything she needs to do. She does dishes and laundry and all that. If I need her to cook, she'll cook. If I need her to watch our girls, she'll watch our girls. She's amazing with them, and it's just awesome having that peace of mind of knowing that, especially with your kids, that you'll have the same person that can watch them all the time and they get to know them. And it's been awesome for me having that peace of mind that I can just spend time with Trevor. I can spend time with Jolie and Allegra. I don't have to worry about the dishes. And sometimes I feel bad because I'll wake up in the morning and I don't really touch any of the dishes until Shelly comes, and it's like this piled up thing full of dishes. But I'm like, okay, so do the dishes or spend time with my kids? Do the dishes or spend time with Trevor? Yeah, I'd rather spend time with my family than do the dishes. But it's been awesome being able to do that. And, freedom is incredible, but it's not necessarily that it's this amazing event every day. It's just having peace of mind and joy, and you can do whatever you want because you get to dictate your life. You get to design it from the ground up, and nobody else tells you how you can spend your day or what you have to do that day or how much time you can spend with the people that are important to you. One thing that's always been huge for me is wanting to bless my family. I've been able to take our parents on some awesome vacations and some different things with us, and then this last year my parents have been amazing at being, and they watched our girls a lot on our run to Diamond, and I'm so thankful for that. My girls love them so much. And we were able to bless my mom with, she works all day long, and we're excited for her to get free. But they're building a business and kicking butt right now. It is awesome. But a couple months ago, I was able to just tell my mom, she came home from work. We actually planned it, so she didn't even know. She came home from work, and the house was magically clean. And I said, by the way, somebody's going to be here every 2 weeks to clean your house. So you don't have to worry about that. So you don't have to stress about that. So that if when you work all day long, you can build your business, and then you can just relax, and you can be an awesome grandma, and you don't have to worry about washing the floors and all that kind of stuff. And I'm just so excited about you guys experiencing that, for you to know what it's like to have peace in your life, for you to know what it's like to not have to worry about debt, for you to just do whatever you want every single day and feel like you have a purpose in every fiber of your being. You have purpose. You know what you want with your life, and now we're not just doing something for us. I think there comes a time where in the beginning of building your business, it's about you because you're trying to survive. There's only so much you can think about other people when you can't pay your bills. But once you get past that point, it comes back to what you can do for other people and the lives and the things that you see change in that for them, the decisions that you see people make, and the personal growth and just so many incredible things that you start out with just you, and the decisions that you make don't just change your family, but ultimately create a ripple effect that impact generations. And that's, for me, when I saw this, that is what I saw. I saw an opportunity to do something great with my life. I saw an opportunity to run hand in hand with my future husband, run hand in hand with our family, and kick butt in life and do incredible things and enjoy life, but not just sit back and watch things happen, but truly make things happen, do life with people, travel the world, just have fun. And we're so excited for everybody. We love you guys so much. I'm so incredibly proud of Trevor for the leader that he is, for the father that he is. He has so much fun with the girls. Oh my gosh, they love dancing with him. He's crazy with them. Oh my goodness, he is very crazy with them, but it's awesome. And they have little special things, each of them, and Trevor has a little thing with Allegra and certain things with Jolie, and it's just so fun to see him grow in that area and grow as a leader and be able to, that even softening his heart more, and it's awesome. So love you guys. We're so incredibly proud of you and blessed to have you in our life. And here's my incredible Going Crown Ambassador husband, Trevor Baker.
Awesome. Well, Lexi just did a great job of really explaining to you guys and hopefully helping you understand more of our journey, meeting, leading up to seeing this amazing opportunity or getting involved and engaging in this opportunity ourselves. My story is pretty unique. I was sitting back thinking, how could I share something that would potentially relate to somebody or impact somebody's life? And I think, like I said earlier, this might be just kind of a snapshot on what lies ahead for you, right? Because, I've been around this business because my parents sat in a room, got educated about this opportunity when I was 5 years old. 25 years ago, nearly now, sat in a room like this, got educated about this opportunity, and bought the ranch truly. They saw a way to build an amazing life for us as a family, the way to build a legacy for us as a family. I was 5 years old. My sister Summer, who's sitting here on the front row, she's a platinum within our organization, her and her husband, Matt Brandt, and 5 years old, they got involved in this opportunity. They went into platinum qualification, replaced my mom's dental hygiene income, was able to, my mom was able to retire, be a full-time mom from that day forward. So ever since I was 5.5 and 3.5 years old, we've had full-time mom at home, which was absolutely awesome. Obviously, 2 years later, my dad was able to replace his, insurance career. He had a very successful insurance career. I mean, he was one of the top guys in town, but the fact is he was able to replace that income in about a 2.5-year time period, and at 8.5, 9 years old, from that day forward, we had full-time mom and dad, we had full-time parents, just an amazing, amazing lifestyle that happened. One of the craziest things is that, we got a chance to experience all the things that I think most people look at and they see as that, wow, that is success. You see the homes, you see the cars. I remember they moved from this little tiny house, this little tiny place in Corona, California, Starfire Street, just a little tiny house, moved into this absolutely gigantic, it was like a 10,000 square foot mansion in Anaheim Hills, while we were looking for the home that they ultimately ended up bought, and we spent the most of our life in growing up in, which is out in Temecula, California, 13.5 acre, beautiful estate, just an absolutely amazing, amazing property. It was great growing up with them because, not only did we, have the lifestyle as far as the tangible things, the stuff, but the fact is we had full-time mom and dad at home as well. I know one of the, just kind of the stuff you can talk about that you have the ability to do with your kids one day is I know they, Summer was into horseback riding. So they got a chance to build an Olympic-sized horse arena, buy multiple horses, have them taken care of, and Summer was able to have, professional horseback riding lessons on her own property. I was into racing motocross at the time, back when we were a little younger, and having a professional motocross racer come onto our property and design a motocross track, and literally we had full-on motocross races at our house, in our backyards. Eventually got into paintball, right? Got into playing paintball. That was a fun sport. That seemed like it was like a big thing that was exploding back when I was younger, and we kind of demolished the horseback riding thing because Summer kind of got over that, and we, bought 16 of the hottest guns at the time, had all the CO2 tanks, had all the paintball, and all the things that you would need as if you were to go to a professional paintball field, and it was on our own property. I remember after school, we would hire refs to come ref games on our own property, friends of ours. I mean, it was just absolutely amazing growing up this way. The cars, the travel, the private aircraft, it was just amazing. I mean, I remember back when I was younger, me and a handful of my, friends, I think we were in our early teens, I told my dad we were getting ready to go up and planning a trip to drive up, with a handful of guys, leave at 2 in the morning, drive up to a mountain close to us about 6 hours away where we could go snowboarding, and we were talking about driving there, snowboarding all day and then driving home. And he goes, why don't you just have those guys just show up at the private airport at about 6 o'clock in the morning, I'll have the private pilot, the airplane sitting there waiting for you, and literally we all go showing up. There's basically breakfast burritos sitting on the airplane. We jump on the airplane, 2 hours later we're snowboarding. We finish snowboarding, we get on the airplane, 2 hours later we're sitting in a hot tub in Southern California. And it was us and the pilot, right? It was wild, but I always joke about how, 18 years old, kind of wound up a little bit like Billy Madison. If you're not laughing, you're too young or too old, but the fact is, really through that, had no real concept of what most people experience. I think one of the most amazing things that we had a chance to experience was the amazing opportunities to get around the amazing leaders in this organization. I know that's one of the things that my parents did phenomenally well, is that they always upheld and respected and looked up to as heroes in their life, the leaders in this organization, the diamonds in this organization, the Ron and George Lee Pereiras, the leaders that we all have a chance to potentially earn mentorship from in our life. They held them up as heroes in our life. which in turn caused them to be my sister and I's heroes. One of the biggest things that will impact the way that your children will wind up in life is the relationship that they have and the quality of their parents' friends. And I heard that just about 2 years ago, and I look back on our life and go, that was probably one of the biggest things that maybe resulted in us pursuing to build this opportunity, us pursuing greatness in our life, us not just settling for average, but pursuing excellence in every area of our life, is that we looked at the people that they got us around, we looked at their association, and it always caused us to want to earn their respect, to do things that would earn the respect from the right people. And so I know that was a huge thing for us. We had a lot of opportunities to travel because of this amazing organization. I mean, absolutely amazing. If you guys are, have your kids now, like we have our young girls now, and, you may leave them to go, build your organization, to go build your business, little spurts of time that you leave them. This is just kind of an example of some of the amazing things that you'll have a chance to do with them as you begin to move on and succeed. And all I got to say is, at 9 years old, my parents were both completely retired. I think it was 9.5 or 10, they went diamond in this organization. I don't ever remember my parents ever having jobs. All I remember is that they were full-time mom and dad, full-time parents. That's all I remember. And yeah, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years old, you think that's pretty old to not remember. But the fact is, I think from all the times that they were there, from all the times that they did spend with us, from all the times that when we had field trips in school, it'd be all the moms that were stay-at-home moms because their dads had full-time careers, and my dad on the field trip. I swear they all thought my dad was like unemployed or something like that, But the fact is, it was amazing to have them there, and it was amazing growing up around that because all of our friends saw this. All our friends at sporting events saw them there, and all of them would say, man, I wish my parents did what your parents did. This is the kind of stuff I heard my entire upbringing, all through school. I wish my parents were like your parents. And obviously as a young kid, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, 12, 13, even 14, 15, did not understand what they meant by that. And I was like, well, what do you mean? Because I was a young kid, I didn't really grasp it, but I'm like, your dad's a successful physician. He owns an orthopedic surgeon practice here in town. Your dad's he's the city manager. Your dad's this, that, your dad's that. What do you mean? He goes, but I never see him. And I think what they even saw, what I did not understand was so unique was they didn't go to work because they spent life doing what most people were not willing to do, to live life the way that they'd never be able to live. Like he always taught me to pay now versus playing around now and paying for the rest of our lives. I know a couple of the experiences that we had a chance to get around the amazing leaders of this organization would be, events that Amway Corporation would put on as you begin to move on and succeed. I know there's a lot of new platinums in this room, a lot of new people that are getting a chance to experience in the beginnings of experiencing a lot of these amazing trips. And if you have family, the choice is yours to begin to bring them with you or not if you desire to do that. I know my parents always did that. They always desired to get us around because they wanted us to, I think, this was not just their business. They always made it very clear this was not just mom and dad's thing. This was not just like, this is what dad did. This is what mom did. Kind of like how most people are like, what does your parents do? Oh, I don't know, he goes to work. Because it was such a separate compartment that you could not live more a holistic life. It was more compartmentalized. Because that was his work. Your family could not be involved. That was her work. Family could not be involved. And so most people's lives are very compartmentalized. We saw them begin to live really a more integrated life where it was like, this was not just their business, this was our business as well. Right? This was something that we would do together as a family. They talked about the vision that we would build a future together. We would build something together. And I think most people in their life, when they look at their family, they look at their kids, they're like, we want to build a future together versus make a living apart, lead our kids into the job world. They apply all over the country to get a job they hope they can find. And then your kids and grandkids wind up across the country from you. And I think, I'm so glad and so appreciative that they caught a vision for our family greater than just repeating cycles by having kids and teaching them to do the same thing you did, repeating those cycles again, which quite honestly, in our family tree, it ended with them. I hope that makes some sense. So a couple of things we got a chance to experience every single year. Every year, Go Diamond Weekend was amazing. I think we've been to Disneyland, I can't even tell you how many times. Just with this trip alone. There's Moving Up, which is an amazing event that happens a handful of days before Family Reunion, our summer conference every single year that's typically held somewhere in the upper Northwest as of right now. And the fact is every single year they'd hold an event in a place called Sun River, Oregon, called Moving Up Weekend. Now it's being held in Kellogg, Idaho. And it was just an amazing time. It was designed for families to be able to come together and spend that family time together before an upcoming major event like a family reunion. And we spent time. We rode bikes all over the place, rode canoe down the Deschutes River, whitewater rafting, staying in cabins, staying up late with all the other great leaders of this organization. I know one thing that a lot of people in this organization noticed that I did, and I don't think it was really conscious, but I remember when these things would happen, there'd be like in the evenings and events in the evening where the leaders would be getting together, the diamonds and the platinums, they'd be getting together and they'd hold like an event in the evening. And while everybody was out playing, I know, one thing a lot of people always bring up to us is that they always remember seeing me in the summer not playing around, like when we'd show up at one of these events. A lot of people would go straight to playing or straight to the bikes, we'd sit in the lobby of these hotels just waiting for the leaders of this organization to come in. And I don't think that was really such a conscious thing, but I think it was just a reflection of the way my parents treated this opportunity and treated the relationship they had with the leaders in this organization. So that rubbed off on us, and we did the same thing. We'd be sitting there waiting for the diamonds to come in. We weren't like, where's Disneyland? We'd be like, forget Disneyland. The diamonds are coming. Forget, whitewater rafting. We can get back to that. The diamonds are going to be coming. And maybe that doesn't relate to you guys, but for us, it was a bigger deal than seeing your favorite movie star walking in town. It was a bigger deal than seeing your greatest hero in life walking in, because you knew these were not just people that you'd watch on television or hear about. These were people that we got to know. We got to know them. And so I think, achievers, that's every single year at the end of the year in typically late November, early December, where all the qualified Q12 platinums, that means they qualify for 12 months and above, go to some amazing place. I just remember when I was younger, it seemed to be in Walt Disney World, Orlando, Florida a lot. And it seemed like every year we looked forward to going to Walt Disney World, Orlando, Florida. It was just ridiculous. We'd spend a handful of days there staying at the Disney Yacht and Beach Club or the Swan and Dolphin Resort. It was full expenses paid. And they'd give us theme park tickets. And man, my parents, we would wake up we'd have all the other leaders' kids. We'd go, okay, guys, 7 a.m. The theme park opens at 8. 7 a.m. we're meeting. We are going to be there when it opens. We are going to stay there till it closes. And we just had a blast running all over these theme parks with all of our great friends, all the other great leaders' kids. And so, that was huge. Achievers. I think I've been to Moving Up, which is at Sun River, 12 times. We've been to Achievers 11 times. At Diamond Club, when you go Diamond, every single year they send brand new diamonds to an amazing resort, typically Maui or typically wherever it might have been at the time. But Hawaii, typically 8 times. One of those times they rented out the El Conquistador Resort in Puerto Rico. This hotel had its own private island. And you'd go down this elevator that scaled the side of this cliff, and this hotel looked like a castle on the side of these gigantic cliffs. You'd go down this escalator, and you'd get on this little boat. It would take you across, and the only people on the island were people that were staying at the resort. And when Diamond Club does it, they do it right. And literally the whole island, they was practically rented out for us. So they rented out an entire island just for us. Jet skiing, snorkeling, all just crazy stuff. 8+ times. But most importantly, guys, those things were all great. But you know what? More than going to Hawaii, more than going to Disneyland, we looked forward to being around the leaders of this organization. We look forward to getting around the Brad and Julie Duncans, the Ron and Georgia Lee Perez. We looked forward to getting around them because my parents did such a great job. And I just really want to talk about them because they are here tonight. And they are the reasons why not only we are here physically, but also why we are here on this stage. We would not be here if it was not for them, and we would not be here if it was not for them. And so, they did an amazing job of really, raising us, making great decisions. I think one of the things that we saw is that they were very, very single-minded. Hotel looked like a castle on the side of these gigantic cliffs. You'd go down this escalator and you'd get on this little boat. It would take you across, and the only people on the island were people that were staying at the resort. And when Diamond Club does it, they do it right. And literally the whole island, they was practically rented out for us. So they rented out an entire island just for us. Jet skiing, snorkeling, all just crazy stuff. 8+ times. But most importantly, guys, those things were all great. But you know what? More than going to Hawaii, more than going to Disneyland, we looked forward to being around the leaders of this organization. We look forward to getting around the Brad and Julie Duncans, the Ron and Georgia Lee Perez. We looked forward to getting around them because my parents did such a great job. And I just really want to talk about them because they are here tonight. And they are the reasons why not only we are here physically, but also why we are here on this stage. We would not be here if it was not for them, and we would not be here if it was not for them. And so, they did an amazing job of really, raising us, making great decisions. I think one of the things that we saw is that they were very, very single-minded. They saw this. They saw this as their purpose. And anything plan B, a backup plan, was just a distraction from plan A. And they just focused on this. They weren't interested in a lot of things. They didn't talk about a lot of other things. When we talked about what we were doing with our future, this was it. This was it. So I just, like to ask every single one of you guys, what is it that you guys are talking about behind closed doors? Typically, you talk to somebody's children, you know exactly what the parents are talking about behind closed doors. If they're talking about other businesses, if they're talking about other things, and they want to get together and talk about whatever, it's just a reflection of what's happening with the parents in the home. And I think that was one of the things my parents probably did the very best job of, was truly making this our answer. This was what we were going to do with the rest of our life. This was how we were going to build a family legacy. We watched very closely who my parents chose to associate with and spend time with, which taught us about the power of association. I had friends in school. I didn't have a lot of great friends, not because I did not like all these people, I just didn't like a lot of the things that they did. And as they began to make decisions, I was just kind of like, that I thought, wow, why are they doing this? Why are they making decisions? I just chose, I don't want to be a part of that. But I think that really happened because I watched my parents and the way they made decisions on who to spend time with. I knew who I wanted to spend time with by who I watched them spend time with. I saw them wanting to get around to Brad and Julie Duncan because they were all in, single-minded. So we sought out and looked to earn respect from people like Brad and Julie Duncan. Ron and George Lee Prier, same thing. We watched the associate with it. It helped us understand the power of association. At 18 years old, I made the personal decision. It was not caused by them. I made the personal decision because I knew this opportunity. I actually got an Amway independent business owner number at 16 years old because I could, because I knew at 5 years old I wanted to build this business. So I wanted to get a business owner number as soon as I possibly could, but treat it like anything you don't really earn. Basically, I treated it like crap. I didn't treat it seriously. I did not treat the opportunity seriously. But man, I had the business owner number, and I was excited about it. I used to tell my other 16-year-old friends, yeah, I own a business. What is it? I had no idea how to explain it because I wasn't paying attention. I wasn't honoring a partnership. I was not personally growing. I just had a business owner number, which I always talk about. Getting a business owner number with Amway is a lot like getting a gym membership. It just means you have a business owner number, right? At 18 years old, I made the personal decision to, with no pressure from them, to stop living with the rewards of the diamond lifestyle my parents created. Because I now wanted to earn the diamond's respect for myself. I didn't want to be Glenn and Joya's son. I wanted to make a name for myself and earn their respect, not as Glenn and Joya's son, but as somebody who has paid the price like they had. So they would look at me as someone who had done what they had done. And that's what I wanted to earn. So I literally stopped living with the rewards of the diamond lifestyle because I wanted to earn the respect and I wanted to earn those things for myself. And I said, I'm not going back. I'm not going to Go Diamond Weekend. I'm not going to that Moving Up seminar. I'm not going to Achievers, Diamond Club, or any of those things until I earn it myself. Now, 18 years old, still wasn't really treating this thing seriously, but when Lexi and I met, that was really the catalyst that caused me to truly take this opportunity seriously. Like Lexi talked about, we went to an FED. I just went to go see them speak, met Lexi there. I thought for sure saying I was Glenn and Joya Baker's son was going to mean something. But then I find out just writing on your parents' success doesn't always work. And just even more confirmation, that's why I wanted to build a future for myself and build this to earn the respect for myself. So here we go. I suffered gigantically during that period of time. I suffered from a thing called MOD. It's called missing out disease. Which created, by the way, an intense burning desire to want to begin building this business for myself. Because I spent this life around them. I spent these lives around these amazing leaders, and I wanted to earn it back. I wanted to earn my way back to that association. It was very huge. Met Lexi while watching my parents speak, which was absolutely awesome. Friends for a couple of years. She said she had a boyfriend. I knew that was going to be temporary because she met me. And so the fact is, I'm like, of course it's temporary. He doesn't have a dream and she does. That's no big deal, right? And so the fact is this, we got serious about building our business when we got engaged. We got engaged and we, at a long distance relationship, started kicking this business in the rear end. We literally began building the business as if we were two singles because Lexi was here, I was in California. It's not like we did meetings together, not like we contacted and invited together, not like we did any of these, we went to functions together. We did it literally separate but together. beginning to build the beginnings of our business. Went out and found myself a business building job. I was in college at the time. I was basically like, I'm out of here. I was out of here. Went out and got a business building job. I wasn't looking for something fancy. Some people are so picky about what it is they do, but then you realize there's 1,000 things that can pay your bills. There's one thing that creates financial freedom. So what I looked for was not a job I liked, not something I wanted to do, not something that I went to school for because I didn't go to school for anything. A business building job had to fit a criteria. A job that would leave my evenings and weekends available to build this business, and that was enough money not to do things and party, not to do things and go to dinner, but was enough money to fund the building of my business. That's all I looked for. Because it didn't matter to me, because I knew I'd be financially independent anyway, so why am I going to go spend all this time, effort, investment, learning a new thing, trying to figure out some career, trying to go down this major path, when I just need a job that pays my bills for now. Dropped out of college, got a job in real estate. I was making $18,000 a year. $18,000 a year sucks no matter where you live, quite honestly. So, obviously, I was doing so unbelievably well. My beautiful bride had to work 5 days a week at a Mexican restaurant. Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. That's what we worked. Had an hour commute on each end. Right? We focused our non-productive times on building this business. We kind of identified what our values were and said if it doesn't have to do with us moving towards an accomplishment of our values, we just chose not to do it. That might have looked like stepping back in society's eyes. So we knew that we could take quantum leaps forward. I was offered better jobs. I was encouraged to get my real estate license. I could become like a partner of his and I could make this much money because this was when the real estate market was exploding. And so I was very pulled that way. I was very intrigued that way. Ended up getting a real estate license, never really truly pursued it. But the fact was, knowing what we've communicated to him that we wanted to accomplish, which I think is very clear, very important that you communicate to your mentor what it is you want to accomplish so that they can give you the proper advice based upon that decision that you've made. He knew we wanted to be free. He knew we wanted to be a full-time husband and wife, full-time parents someday. He knew we wanted to go diamond. And so he goes, Trevor, think about this, this, and this. And he would share with us how that would potentially hinder our ability to honor a partnership. It was hold us back from building our asset. But I guess it kind of felt like welding the quit door shut. I think it kind of felt like slamming the back door shut and welding it closed. Because you know what? When you have something to fall back on, typically, you won't treat what you have your hands on as seriously. But the fact is, we realized that there was a million things that could pay our bills. There was one thing that created financial freedom. So we just basically began to make every decision in our life based upon that statement. That there's one thing that creates financial freedom. That was what we wanted in our life, so we just made every decision based upon that. So here we go. We were willing to do whatever it took. My sister sent a great message the other day to the organization. Not only were we willing to do whatever it took, we were willing to do whatever it took for as long as it took. It didn't matter to us. There was no contingency on our freedom. Like, we want to be free as long as it doesn't take this. So, we were willing to do whatever it took for as long as it took. We were willing to pay a price. We never looked at it as a sacrifice. We looked at it as a privilege. We knew what other people did not know. Now, did we get ridiculed by a lot of our friends and by a lot of our coworkers and the things that we were doing? Yes. But the fact is, it didn't matter to us because we allowed the primary influencers and we decided who was going to speak into our life. And we knew it was only going to be people that had the results we wanted to have in life. I think most people need to ask themselves two questions with who they're going to take advice from is, are they in my corner? Meaning, do they have your best interest at heart? And number two is, can they help you? That's who I was going to allow to speak into our life. People who had results we wanted to have in life. People that had the fruit on their tree. No shows. I want you guys to know that every person who's ever succeeded in this opportunity has gone through what you are about to go through. It is a character development plan. Building of your integrity. Building of your perseverance and your conviction. And so the fact is, we realized that we had no shows. People that said they were going to meet with us but did not. We would drive hours in Southern California to go get no-showed. We had cancellations. We lost sleep. We booked flights to go help people. I can remember flying to Hawaii and getting no-showed. I flew to Hawaii. I was so young, I didn't counsel on how to book flights. I forgot to book a hotel room. So I get there. I'm going, oh, no big deal. I'll be able to find a hotel room. But the Honolulu Marathon was happening the same weekend, and so there was no hotels available. So I got a rental car. I was planning on sleeping in my rental car. Thank goodness my dad had connections in Hawaii because he called up a couple people and found me a floor to sleep on. And the fact is, I literally slept on the floor in a Platinum in Hawaii's house. Flew to Chicago, got no-showed. Flew to Portland, This guy, we scheduled to do a meeting. I was going to do a meeting for him. I showed up there. He was supposed to pick me up at the airport. He wasn't there, so I thought, okay, maybe I miscommunicated that he was supposed to pick me up. So I got a rental car, drove over there. I was at the meeting site where the house plan or board plan was going to happen, and it was dark. I call him up. I go, dude, I'm here at the meeting. He goes, oh. That's never a good sign. Oh. And so basically he goes, oh, I forgot to tell you. I got a call this morning that everybody canceled for the meeting, and then the church called me up and asked if I could play on the softball team, so I decided to go do that. I'm playing softball right now. I basically hung up the phone. I said, you're never going to hear from me again, click, and I moved on. Because, guys, you know what? You need to learn that your time is valuable. You need to learn that you don't just let people walk all over you. Yes, you're going to be nice, but the fact is, guys, you are building a future for yourself. You don't need anybody. There's nobody that is the one that you need, and if you don't have them in your business, you're not going to succeed. There are 400 million people in this country. You know, we just chose to do what seemed crazy. We did stuff that to the outside world, who did not have a vision, who did not have a purpose, seemed crazy. But you know what we realized? Normal wasn't working very well. And so every time somebody goes, you guys are crazy, why are you doing that? Every time somebody questioned the price that we were paying for our freedom, it just created a deeper resolve and a greater burn to go out there and just do it even more, to prove them wrong. We never allowed the critics and the naysayers to pull us down. We use that as fuel to begin to move forward. We use that as fuel to begin to move forward. We have notebooks, calendars. Now we're in 2015 today. Lexi and I got started in 2005. We have notebooks and calendars that said Trevor and Lexi Baker, New Diamonds, 2006. Which, by the way, was a totally unrealistic goal, but there it was anyway. We got started in 2005. That wasn't going to happen. We know Trevor and Lexi Baker, New Diamonds, 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, 14, and then obviously now today, 2015. It didn't matter to us. We never put a contingency on what the price would be. People always asked us, how much did you have to do? How many people did you have to talk to? How many people did you have to start the open process? Our answer is it didn't matter. Some of you guys might be into taking notes, but it didn't matter to us because whatever the price was, we were going to pay. We decided that we were going to pay the price, we were not going to count the costs, and we were going to go out there and create freedom in our life, and we believed with all of our heart that it was going to happen. I always tell people, no one's so special if you do what's taught, it won't work for you. You know, reading books built our self-image. You know what's amazing? That was the character building time. That was the conviction building time. I truly believe that if we did not go through those things, if we did not overcome those challenges, we would no way on earth even be anywhere close to where we are today. And if we did just so happen to have the organization we have today, we would have never been prepared to help them overcome things, to help them go through things. See, you know, your challenges are one day going to be, your overcome challenges are one day going to be somebody else's breakthrough. I think so many people think that that the goal is happiness. But the goal is not happiness. The goal is to be blessed so that you can become a blessing to others. And especially in my generation, that they believe, you know, the goal is happiness, meaning that if challenges pop up, if there's things they have to overcome, they feel, oh, that's not happiness, so I should not be doing this. But really true happiness comes from the overcoming of those challenges. You know, you look at life moving forward, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Like, why am I going through this? Why us? Why do we have to pay this price? But what's amazing is looking back on it, it all makes complete and total sense. Everything we've gone through, we've had to help people in our organization go through. Lexi talked about having to do fertility treatments. Turns out a year later, we had a couple in our organization who are now platinums, had to go through literally the exact same thing that we did. And Lexi, because she had experience, they had twins just like we had, sitting right here on the front row, and we were now able to help them go through those things. Hope you look at everything. You know, it's like sometimes you win and sometimes you learn. There's never really any failing in those opportunities, as long as you look at it all as an opportunity to grow, to move forward, to learn, so you begin to impact others. You know, I think every person has to build belief in themselves. We had to build belief. See, I believed that this business worked because I watched what my parents did. I believed without a shadow of a doubt this business worked, that this opportunity worked, because of what I watched them do. But I still had to build belief that I could do it. You know what's amazing? We still actually look back. We look back on the challenges. We look back on the price. We look back on the things we overcame, the challenges we went through. We look back on the self-image problems we have. And you know what's funny? We look back at the long nights, the grinding it out when you thought you couldn't do anymore. We look back at the times when we were struggling. I look back at the times where I sat at an In-N-Out, you know, just bawling my eyes out with my sister and my parents sitting there, just going, am I ever going to find somebody? Will I ever find one person who will be as committed to their future and committed to their dream as my wife and I are? Some of you guys are like, no way, Trevor, you didn't cry. No, dude, literally, I was out of control. Because just the work that had gone in, the results that were not there, just culminated in that night. It was just, I had a breakdown. But I never caused that, I never allowed that to even question what I was going to do with my future. I had to go through it, and we sat down, we chatted with my parents, they helped me overcome it, they picked me up, they dusted me off, and we got going again. It wasn't like, wow, there's challenges, maybe I should work for 40 years. It was never that. But we look back actually fondly on that time, because that's the time when you went diamond. I remember my parents went diamond, they were given this plaque or this trophy that said, the greatest reward for a man or woman's dedication to excellence is not what they get from it, but who he or she becomes through it. And I think that's truly the thing that you should be valuing the most, that the person you're going to become, the spouse you're going to become, the parent you're going to become, the leaders you're going to become. It's the coolest thing today, guys, to be able to wake up, roll over, look at my beautiful wife. When I used to get up when it was still dark outside, get in a car that I was still paying for, get in traffic with all the other sheeple. I used to see the same people in traffic. I used to make friends with people in traffic. It's like, hey, I saw you yesterday, you know? To be able to, now that we have kids, to be able to be full-time parents to our kids. Most kids, their parents have to go to work full-time. And now we get dressed and they go, meeting, help the people, the kids are sad. We got launched in the business at 20 years old. We went Ruby in 3.5 years. It's been 7.5 years for Lexi. It's been nearly 6 years for myself since we haven't had a job. Free couple for over half our marriage, and free parents since the second our babies were born. I never said it was going to be easy. I never said it was going to be easy, but I'm telling you guys, it is absolutely worth it. It's absolutely worth it. One thing I do want to talk about, because I think a lot of people, this can impact you guys, it always impacted me when listening to audios, is basically how people met the amazing friends, the amazing people that came into life that wound up building this opportunity and going on and building a business for themselves that results in a diamond ship. Because yes, we're up here as new emeralds, but we are in diamond qualification. Next month is our last month in diamond qualification for 6 months of qualification. So, first and foremost, starting out with my sister and her husband. When Lexi and I got started in business, Summer actually was an independent business owner, you know, but kind of like I did in the very beginning, was in college, was kind of finding out what she wanted to do. She was pursuing goals in fitness. She was doing all these other things, really wasn't building the business, had some stuff coming on, because every time she would apply a little bit of effort, it's amazing the results that she would get. She'd do like this much, like tiny bit of effort, and she'd get like ridiculous results. But the problem is she'd do like this much effort once a year, and so she'd have these results, by the way, that are still amazing parts of their organization today from the little spurts of effort she put in. Matt and Summer Brand. Summer met Matt, and I wasn't too sure about Matt when I first met him. I was like, who is this guy? What about this? But the fact is, you know, they got launched. Man, they have just an amazing organization coming on, amazing leaders coming on in their organization. So isn't it amazing to be able to not only be in business being mentored by family, but to be in business with family? And to be, you know, this is what we talk about, man. Thanksgiving, we have to wait for all the extended family to leave so we can actually start talking about important things. Man, we want to sit around and talk about the future, and all the rest of the family sit at the dinner table going, what are you guys talking about? All they want to talk about is the past. All they want to talk about is people. We want to talk about the future, and it's great building business with family, and Matt and Summer are just amazing leaders that are coming on in a huge way. Ross and Sherry Cerencione, an amazing couple Lexi met here that she went to high school with, but never had a conversation with once. So they knew of each other, but they did not know each other. but they knew of the same people. And so Lexi reconnected with her after several years of being out of high school, reconnected. We saw them. Lexi reconnected. I think it was MySpace is how they kind of reinitiated conversation. Lexi shared with her basically what was available, what was happening in our life, and Sherry got excited about that. We sat down with Ross and Sherry. Ross left in the middle of the meeting. He didn't even want to hear about it. He was working on some like 50 million gallon fish tank in his house, and he left. But we're like, Sherry's awesome. Not quite sure about Ross. But Sherry's like, we're right in the middle of going over the business plan and kind of doing a meeting, and Ross kind of doesn't even sit down. He walks up to the table and he walks up and he goes, so what is it? I'm like, well, go ahead and sit down here. We can get a chance to chat about that. What is it? I believe this opportunity is best communicated not as an explanation, but as an experience. They end up coming on the night I think he was available and off, and their life was changed from that moment forward, which led to Nick and Artemia Cox, which is Sherry's brother and his beautiful wife. Jessica Bianchi, now platinums in our organizations as well. Moving on, these guys moving on big time. Dustin, Gina State and I met at Hot Yoga. Well, I didn't meet Dustin and Gina State in a hot yoga. I met Gina State in a hot yoga. Lexi's parents knew I had, my back was sore and I was having some back issues, so she got me a hot yoga Groupon. I went to hot yoga. It was like the only time I ever went, really. And there was Gina next to me and just kind of started a conversation at the end of the class. Very odd because during the day it was a bunch of women and me. So the fact is, I had to start a conversation to be very clear that there was no ill intentions happening here. I said, hey, is your husband come do this with you? This is what my wife talked me into doing, just to be very clear up front, and start a conversation, made them aware of what's available. We actually had an appointment set up. They text messaged and tried to cancel. I showed up showed up for the meeting anyway, showed them the opportunity, and they have a humongous organization coming on right now. They have an amazing single guy in their organization named Joshua Sarge. Man, that guy's a rocket platinum, killing it right now in a major way. So I'm proud of you guys, big time. Jason and Allison Montano. I'm walking through a grocery store one night. Now, by the way, I want you to understand, I did not go to the grocery store to meet Jason and Allison Montano. I went to the grocery store because we earlier had some very unacceptable cupcakes. My mom was in town. We were very depressed at this moment because we were really looking forward to these cupcakes. I go, that's fine. I'm going to go to Vaughn's. It was 11 o'clock at night. It was middle of winter. I'm going to get 2 tubs of frosting and some graham crackers. I'm wearing gym shorts you should only wear to bed, a t-shirt that was cut off. My hair wasn't done. I was wearing flip-flops, and it was like 30 degrees outside. I'm walking down the frozen food section. Really hoped to see nobody. But because I created the habit of just being friendly and starting conversations, I'm walking by them and say, hey, how are you guys doing? Now I'm past them, my back's to them. I was just kind of expecting a sup, and just kind of continue going. But they're like, wow, we're doing great, how are you? I'm like, wow, friendly people, at least I don't have to teach them that. And you know what's cool? Made them aware of what's available. It was amazing. Allison was all over it. Jason, I don't sure was really understanding what I just communicated, but Allison was like, my dad said I needed to find somebody like you guys. So they were looking. They were looking. And it started out with Jason more excited than Allison was, but Jason had a vision for his family. Allison came on because she saw her husband stand up and go for something. And now they're kicking butt. Jason and Allison Montano have a humongous organization coming on. Tyler and Kylie Steph, Easter, sitting on the front row at church because we had a gigantic stroller and there was no room for it. We're sitting on the front row. Church was packed. I don't know what it was. It got started. I stood up, turned around, and there was this cute looking couple walking around the place looking for seats, and I knew the only empty seats were the ones right next to me. I just basically pointed my fingers up, 2 people, come on up here. And they sat right next to us. At the end of the thing, how long have you been coming here? Where are you from? What do you do for work? Just got to know them, created a friendship. They said, what do you do? We shared with them what was available. And they were both all over it, like it wasn't even, like it was the most unbelievable thing they've ever heard. Tyler was like, dude, I'd really be interested in learning about what you do. I didn't even know something like that was a possibility. Sat down with them and become some of our greatest friends, man. They got amazing kids, 5 kids, just kicking butt. A United States Air Force officer and a pilot in the military, fired up about building the future for himself and building a family vision versus just his childhood vision. And then lastly is Matt and Elizabeth Smith. This was the one person Lexi really truly knew that she knew from high school. Lexi had actually talked to Matt years and years and years before, I think before even when we were dating, she had talked to him about the opportunity, but he was just in that phase where he was in college, getting out, gonna get a job and do these things, and wasn't looking at the time. But guys, I believe if you're doing the right thing and you don't quit, I believe someone's either going to be in your business personally or someday they're going to wind up in depth. And you know what happened is we sponsored this couple. They were great, but just never really wanted to be teachable. But one of his best friends in high school was Matt Smith. Matt Smith came to a board plan. This guy that was, that led us to Matt Smith didn't mention Lexi's name, but mentioned my name, so he didn't really make the correlation. But at the meeting, saw Lexi sitting there. I brought her up at the end of the meeting. At the end of the meeting, he looks at Lexi, goes, "Is this what you tried to show me 5 years ago?" And she goes, "Yes." He goes, "You probably think I'm pretty stupid, don't you?" And she goes, "I didn't say it." But the fact is, but Matt and Elizabeth, man, Matt started single, built the business while I was single, met Elizabeth, man, when he met Elizabeth, it lit up. And he just started exploding in an amazing way. They got an amazing team coming on. They have multiple people getting ready to go platinum in their organization. And so, that's just kind of how we, through our journey, through living our life, through the people that didn't get it, the people that were critical of it, the people that rejected it, found the amazing people that came into our lives. And guys, I believe that every single one of you guys, if you just stay loyal to what you're doing, if you don't give up, you don't grow weary in well-doing, and you do what's right. You can't control what they do. You can only control what you do. I believe those people are going to come into your path as long as you're being willing to be mentored and you're being willing to go out there and create a work habit. You'll have all those amazing people. So guys, you know what? I hope some of this helped you guys out tonight. Hopefully one of you guys can take something from this, apply it to your life, and get out there and begin to build an absolutely amazing future for yourself, because this room right here of 1,000 people should quite honestly be 10,000 people with multiple platinums, emeralds, diamonds, and beyond in this organization. Go, guys, we love you big time. Look forward to seeing you guys.